Hello, good morning. Hope you're all having a wonderful day or week or month or whenever it is you're watching this. I want to kick off this week with a bit of housekeeping that I hope you are all aware of, and that is the transition from Google Universal Analytics to Google Analytics 4 or GA4 as it's usually referred to. So Google have confirmed that Google Universal Analytics will be sunsetted on July the 1st. Now that's not very long away. So you need to make sure that you are transitioning, if you're still using Universal Analytics, from that to GA4. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then call me or drop me an email because it's important. You need to make sure that this change is implemented. So what is GA4 and what's the difference? So Google Universal Analytics, so Google Analytics, basically, as most of you will know it, was a platform that was set up really for a different age of digital analytics. So it's based on sessions. It's much more focused around the desktop web, and it's much more reliant on cookies than the new GA4. Cookies obviously are gradually being phased out across the web. So GA4 is a much more modern platform. It takes in data across your app and website, so it's built for a more fragmented user journey, which is how we tend to interact with brands. We don't just click on their website and then click on the information page, then click on the product page, then click on the checkout, then buy. Like, nobody does that. We go to the app and then we go on the website on our phone, and then we come back and then we Google it, and then we see them on Facebook. Customer journey is very fragmented. GA4 is much more designed to understand that kind of user journey. It's based on event-based data rather than session-based. So events are things that happen on your website rather than sessions, which is somebody logging in, as I've just described. And it's built for data-driven attribution rather than last click, which is kind of what Universal Analytics tends to be built for. So it's a better platform. You're going to be forced to move over to it by July the 1st because Universal Analytics is going to stop taking in data. So yeah, just a reminder, get on top of it. And if you don't know how or what I'm talking about, get in touch. Then that brings me kind of onto the thing that I also want to talk about this week, which is a phenomenon that a friend of mine has kind of described going on in the tech industry at the moment, more generally, which is last click thinking. So last click attribution in digital marketing is where we attribute a sale only to the last click that somebody made on an ad before they went to make the purchase. Now, obviously, in the real world, that isn't how we make purchases. As I've just described, we interact with brands all over the place on their awareness content, on their consideration content, and then eventually we might convert on their website and buy something. So attributing things just to that last click is kind of a myopic way of looking at things. This phenomenon, though, seems to be kind of taking place across people, across functions. So anyone or anything that's not directly attributable to sales is kind of getting cut as budgets get strained. This kind of means that the kind of softer marketing functions, like things like awareness, things like brand editorial, things like PR, are kind of falling foul of this kind of thinking, whereas doubling down on demand gen is in. So just taking all of the money out of any kind of brand activity and putting it all into really hard bottom of funnel demand gen activity. And then at an organizational level, this kind of means taking away anybody who's kind of doing any creative brand building and just focusing on sales, just focusing on people who are bringing in money directly. Now, this seems like a logical thing to do, I think, in tough times, going into difficult economic climates. But what eventually will happen, so if you do this with digital marketing, what eventually happens is that you finish that audience, that bottom of funnel audience. You just target the same people over and over again, and then you convert all the ones that are going to convert. And so you get a sugar rush of really high conversions at first because you're really pushing the conversion ads. But what you're not doing is filling the top of the funnel. So you're not creating awareness. You're not doing anything different or interesting or pushing out into new audiences. And so eventually that pipeline of people to convert is going to dry up. And then when you switch off the demand gen, the high cost advertising that brings in direct ROI, it'll all go away because you don't have a brand. So you don't have any organic activity. So my advice would be to not do this, unsurprisingly. So, and we do both. Like, demand gen is really, really effective and can be a great tool, but so can organic. So, organic doesn't have to cost very much. You can create content for free, like I'm doing now, which can, build your brand in a much softer way. And that soft marketing is still really important in my view. But that's just what I think. I'd love to hear what you think. Do make sure that you remember to get on the case with your Google Analytics, and I will see you next week.